Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you an easy protective style to wear if you have thinning edges. Usually I do this style in 3 layers, one at the top where you see me parting right now, one in the middle of her head, and then one at the nape area. But ain't nobody got time for that right now, so we just gonna do 2 layers. So basically this top layer that I'm parting right now is going to be what falls over the edges and what basically gives it that full look. Now these bottom braids, they can be kind of spaced out but not too much because you're going to put the top braids very, very close together so it covers all of that. So what I did is I took the Murrys edge wax that I normally use and I slicked the hairs, like the thinner hairs, into where I thought would be a perfect place for a braid, where it's kind of like an okay area, not too much stress. I actually asked her how hard I was braiding from like a 1 to a 10 and she said a 3. So that's good. Braids should be a protective style. They should not be pulling your soul and your hopes and dreams through your scalp. Like, no. But yes, so I braid it all the way down and I go all the way around her head to the other side, doing the same thing, braiding all the way down from the top to the bottom where I parted it. Now that top area that I have in the rubber band, you can have that come into a side part, middle part, as long as it comes down to cover up the edges. That's why I love so much about this style. Like, you can have either part and you'll still be good. Like, it's gonna be super cute. I love to use pre-stretched hair because it's way easier and it just looks better for this style. So I'm having my mom hand me a few like strands of hair. I put about 5 in each braid. You're basically doing feed-in braids, like small feed-in braids. So keep that in mind. Yeah, like 5 pieces go into one braid. You just want to make sure it doesn't get super, super, super thin at the bottom. And if you don't want to see any scalp, like when you do a hair flip or whatever, then it's best to do 3 layers. I'm only doing 2 because she's just like, yeah, let's get this over with fast. I just want something to hold me during this quarantine. So yeah, we're just doing 2 layers. But if you want it to be A1, no little scalp showing, nothing, perfect, 3 layers is the way to go. And please be careful with the bottom hairs next to her neck because, okay, those be hurting. When I get my hair braided and I try to bend down to go get something, that hurts. Like, people get little rashes down there from that being pulled. Like, they get irritated. Please be careful or just leave them out. Like, yo. So now we're starting at the top. I'm giving her a middle part, so you want to make sure that is perfect because once you start braiding, you don't want to start all over because your part was crooked. So I'm getting ready to do the first braid at the top. You want to make sure your parting is A1 because wherever you part this is where this braid is going to lay. And the goal here is to cover up the thinning edges, cover up what does not need to be seen. So make sure that your parting is exactly where you want that braid to fall. So up here, the braids are a little bit different. I add in the hair more frequently in one spot because you only have 2 inches to get that hair in. So still adding in 5 pieces of hair, just more spaced, like more closer together, because remember how at the bottom it was more spaced out. I'll probably add a piece of hair, braid 2 times, add another piece of hair, braid 2 times. This time I'm like add hair, braid, add hair, braid, add hair, braid. So that, if that helps. And also make sure the hairs are thin that you're adding in because you don't want any bulky knots in your braids. That just doesn't look right. So I'm having her hold where the braid ends on her scalp so there's no tension on her edges. I want this to be a protective style. As I say again, I don't want no tension on it, but this braid style does need to get done, so we're gonna have to just hold that down. So I'm basically just gonna do the same thing all the way around. Make sure you're mindful of your partings. You want that hair to fall in the right place. You see how it falls perfectly and it covers the places that I want it to cover. Yeah, so. And one more thing, I do consider myself a braider, but I am not the fastest, or the most precise. So please know that if this took me 4 hours, then if you're like a top braider, it'll probably take you 2. So that just gives you the estimate. So when you get to the crown area, that's basically the top of the back of her head. That area, your sections are going to be kind of triangle shaped instead of rectangular. So keep that in mind. Make sure your partings are close together still. So I'm working on the last braid. Take your time, y'all, on that last braid. I don't know what it is about it, but I always mess up like 3 to 4 times and have to restart. You're almost done. Just take your time, breathe. So this is it basically. I'm just going to finish this braid and dip her ends in some boiling water so that they lay straight. These braids are not that long. If you want them longer, you could get the same normal pack. Instead of feeding in like 5 pieces into each braid, you could probably feed in about like 8 or 9 spaced out so that they seem longer. So just keep that in mind. I hope that this video was useful. I just wanted to share an idea of a style that you can use to cover up your edges while you grow it back. Most people just think that they can only wear wigs. That's the only option, but it's not. So I pray that this was helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll be back with another video.